is what are you calling it? Is social media designs. Now, I want to tell us about, we have several different type of designs. There are different design styles for different need, for different purposes, which I mentioned some time ago. I mentioned there are designs for social media, there are designs for professional world. That's the what was it? The professional, so professional, that's in workspace. There are certain style of design that some workspace won't accept, that this is the way they want it. Likewise, we can't design a burial style design for a professional settings, or a birthday design for a professional settings. Even for a birthday design, some organizations have their own style of design for birthdays. Now, let me use certain example for that. Okay, let me show us one birthday design. Let me show you my design. I want to use more of my design now. Is this? What's wrong with this man? Let me check. Hope you can hear me clearly, please.
Yes, I
Yes, we
can.
can.
Okay. All right. So let's maybe that just network do normal today. Coming. This man. Okay. Okay. Food. Okay. Let me check this now. Now, looking at this design now. This is a general social media style birthday design that I did. I designed this for someone, and for the brand wanted to use it as frame and also post it on social media. I designed for them. This is a particular style. Now, for some organizations, they may not want something like this. Now, let me show us another one for organization, which pays tech for dev. Um, okay. Where is the name of this woman that you designed? It was from which birthday designs? Birthday. Okay. Okay. There was one I did for. Okay. Now let's look at this now. This one. Can you see how very, very simple this is compared to? Oh, sorry, I've taken it away. Compared to this. Okay. Now I want to put them side by side. Look at this one, this particular design style, and this particular design style. Now let's look at this now. We are seeing these two design style. Now, in a particular design, you can do for. Let me try to increase it a little so that we can see it very well. Same as this one. There are some certain designs that you can do for particular persons that doesn't work for particular people. Now, this style now, if I do this kind of design in tech for them, it might not be accepted because of the settings, the professional settings might not be accepted. And it's not literally because the design is not good enough. Now, the design is good, is nice, but doing this type of design for tech for them, they won't even accept it because because of their own brand, the way they want to communicate their brand. Now, while this particular style of design now, I can as well do this type for this man, but it will be too kind of official kind of the way I will view it. Even the people I will do it for, they might even say this is looking too simple. That's I've had to deal with those kind of things. That's why one must know that this particular design, it works for this kind of client. This particular design style, it doesn't work for this kind of client. Just like when you say the way, which example can I use? The way you communicate, there are some, okay, let me say there are some certain language. Let me use that. There's certain language or certain slang that you can use in a place that you can't use in another place. Same as design. There are some certain designs you can do in a particular place. Let me also put now. Let me add the third one to it so that we will get to understand what I'm saying fully. Because this particular thing I'm talking about is very crucial in design, and it will help you to know the type of design you should do for certain kind of, because you might receive a design brief now and they're telling you do this kind of design for this, help me to do this kind of design. The design brief will determine what kind of design, not literally the design brief, the kind of organization or the kind of settings, that kind of function you are doing the design for will determine the kind of design you will do for those kind of people. Now, this is another one. Now, this one, now let me put this one as a third one here. Hope we are together, please.
Yes.
Now, look at this. Look at this now. This is this is for a concert, for a worship gathering, for church. Now, this style is common for church design. The one at my extreme right is common for church design. Now, let me pull this down because this can also work for this particular one I did for birthday. Can also work for. Okay, let me release this. Okay, let me release this. I want to this thing. This what are you calling it? This what are you calling this function? This Zoom toolbar is always disturbing someone. Okay, let me continue. Let me also open the one I did recently. Now, I just needed to use some of my designs, but I don't care if I'm disclosing it or something. Let me just show us so that you need to know all these things. Now, um, this this one of the latest design I've done. I did for someone. Okay, let me even use. Okay, and let me use this. Use it. Okay, now you can see that these designs, let's look at these three designs now, kind of. Now, this middle now is looking like is not looking like, is a professional setting. It's a professional setting or a business, okay, professional business setting design. Now, I can't want to do this design for this organization now and do this type of design for them. Now, if they see this kind of, okay, this aroma of worship, once they see if I'm doing this type for them, it will look awkward, kind of. They will say, please, please, sir, are we having a worship gathering or are we having a praise party? That's the first thing that we ask. And or doing this kind of, giving them this kind of design and putting this kind of thing in. I'm trying to say in a nutshell that for each function, you have to, as a designer, you have to know, okay, what kind of niche am I designing for? These people, what am I designing them for? What style of design am I designing for them? Well, if it's church, church always need, for church designs, they always need for it to be colorful, for it to show that goodness, for it to show their picture very big. And organizations want it to be very simple enough, very, very simple. A lot of professional organizations, they will tell you that, thank God, Precious has experienced this a lot of times. They want it to very simple. They will tell you that they don't want it to be busy at all. Well, if this type of design, if I take it to, probably I want to design a concert design or a praise or a church design program, church conference or anything for a church, and I give them this, they might be looking, why can't you? They'll be telling you there are spaces now. See space, there are spaces. Add something there, add something there. That's what I've experienced. They'll be telling you, there are spaces here, add something there, add something there. To tell you, when it comes to each function, you should know the style of design to do. This is very important as a graphic designer. You need to know the style of design you should do. There are style. Can we start mentioning functions? Functions, and we should now classify them into the style of design we can do for them. Let's start mentioning functions.
Functions as in different events.
Yes, different events, with work and any event. Let's start mentioning them. So I will classify them the style of design we can do for them.
Children's birthday party.
Children's birthday party. Yes. If you want to do different children's birthday party, it should be in this, this, and this. Now, but there's the font you will use and the element you will use will now determine we must show that it's children-like, it's childlike. Now, that's where our font comes in. The use of fonts, there are children fonts. You can't just use the serious fonts, all these kind of serious fonts like this for children's birthday party. It has to show that these are children's, probably the use of lollipop, use of balloons, the use of colors, splash colors, and the use of cartoons, all these, there are all these balloons that they blow, that all these colorful balloons that are always nylon like, you understand? And the font has to be playful. Let me show us example of that, like, but I will show us that later. But that's those kind of design for children birthday party. Okoyemi.
Product adverts.
Product advert. For product adverts, we have this kind of product adverts that's tending towards a professional, an office settings. Now, it's also okay. Let me not just generalize. What kind of product adverts? It's one has to ask that, okay, what kind of product advert or which niche are we advertising for? But it still boils down to this, the one this one at the middle.
Food stuff.
What do you say? Hello?
I said food adverts or something.
Okay, for food adverts.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. Okay, for food adverts, let's say, let's use Chicken Republic, for example. Now, Chicken Republic, let's go. I want us to be practical today. as much as possible. Let's go to okay, let me check Pinterest. No, very good. Pinterest is going for okay. Chicken Republic. Because I want us to be practical with that today. Chicken Republic adverts. Now, can we see their style of design? That's why there was when you said products advertisement. If you notice, I was like, what kind of product? I wanted to pick the one at the middle. I just remember that, okay, what type of product again? Can you see that their type of design is their own style of design is different? Can you see? For Chicken Republic, can we see the way they fashion their design? Their design is more of their product and it's organized. One thing we must realize in all this niche, no matter the niche we design for, we must maintain the principles of design. Must maintain the principle of design. Design for different niche doesn't mean we have to just make everything clumsy and design and arrange anyhow. It has to be. It has to be. Now I'm still looking at their. Can we see their designs? Now, can you see their style of design? Can we see their style of design? Now, let's look at this for example. Now, can we see their style of design? Now, we might as well say that we want to design something like this for them, but it shouldn't be too. You know, theirs is way different from this style, and it's very different from this style. It's very different from this style. That's what I'm saying, that they are each niche with their own style of design. Now, let me go. Okay, before we mention another one, or let's go. Precious, mention first before I.
Uh, well, I've already done something about a listening party, an album listening party,
Okay, album listing party.
listening party,
what kind of album listing party?
like a secular song
Is it okay for songs? For okay, songs.
for
Okay,
songs.
yes. Now for songs, let me show us a particular one that I did. That's, let's say, it can be album. Where's this one I did for this woman? Where is it? Okay, yes. Now, for song, any of these two types, the right and the left, goes for any of these two styles, go for song, for song. Because songs, you can't want to do album and make it, so it has to be so theirs has to be so attractive that is this style or this style. Now, let me show you an example of the one I did for someone song album release. Okay, no, not this. Not this, please. Now, at first, the one I first did for her, I did this. Was it this first? Okay, let me just open it so that we can see this. Now, I did this. Now, can you see the style of for album? Album they're always giving this square most of the time. Song album release is always in square. The design. I did this variation. I did this. I did this. I did this. Okay, to just this another one. This. I mean this style for the person. And guess what? The person later went for this. This very, very simple one. Now, album, when it comes to album for songs, it's not always too cumbersome and it's always kind of simple. But it has its own style too. But this one will be classified under the church kind of design, under those concert kind of design. It's always in this style for album. One just need to play around it and know, okay, what does this topic says? And sometimes we also need to know that we are designing for the customer, not for ourselves. I remember I said this in one of our classes that we are designing for customers and not for ourselves. Now, that's it about design style. And one niche I so much love their design. One is banking sector, and let me show you Sterling Bank. I'm not advertising for Sterling Bank. Are we together?
Yes, we are.
Okay. I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
that's just on a lighter mood. I'm not advertising for Sterling Bank. Now, Sterling Bank, I so much love their designs. Instagram, let me go to Instagram. Oh, we'll see it from there. Okay. Now, this is just to tell us that any whatever niche we are designing for, it's important if we are not too familiar with that niche. The first thing is to do is check their competitors. Now, check their competitors and look at their style of design. This will give us an idea of how that niche, how their design should be. Can you see now? The ones I'm seeing on Sterling Bank now is kind of the official style. It's the official style, and I love the way they always play with their designs. Now, let me show us. And this one is a video. Designing this. Look at this. Not too. What can you say about this design, please?
Everywhere, different colors.
Okay. How about
That's what I
Opeyemi?
think. And the fonts, I think too much fonts.
Okay.
For me though, I think the picture is obstructing that there's a work at the back, like maybe cream color. Me, I don't like the picture.
The thing is, me looking at the design, it's looking like a beginner design. Now, thank God we are getting to know good designs and bad designs. I'm trying to check, or is it Sterling Bank that designed this, or I'm still trying to check because their designs are always looking at this now, and they posted this. That's why I'm surprised. Surprised. One foundation. They are the owner of one foundation now. Yeah, I don't even know. Probably it was this one foundation that designed it. I don't know. Because literally Sterling Bank designs are always, though the person maintain alignments, but the design is not, is just given like that. Let's compare this design and with this design. We kind of say, can we see the difference now?
Yes, it's probably an intern that designed the previous one.
Hey, thank you. It's probably an intern that designed, how they hired a new intern that designed this one, and that designed this one, and compared to this one, it's standing out. Even the picture, like Akwemi said, the picture, though sometimes I've experienced this a lot. Sometimes you might not blame the designer when it comes to the picture, because I've had to work with the organizations I've worked with, that there are sometimes that you will ask someone to send picture, and the picture they are sending to you is not, it won't make your design pop. Sometimes, okay, that's, I even want to thank God this is coming up. Now, sometimes the whatever thing we are, whenever we want to design, the picture we want to use in the design will determine, will even box our creativity sometimes. If you use a very good image, it will spark someone's creativity. But if you use image that is not nice at all, that's why you should ask for any, if they send you any image, ask for a better one. Sometimes they will just tell you that there's no, this is the one they can make do with, and we will find ourselves designing with it, but it won't make our design pop. Now, I can say that sometimes I'm trying to look at this now, still trying to go to this, that this person might literally look at the picture and the person is not motivated because the picture is not too giving like that. But I'm thinking probably is the way the person cropped or traced the picture or so. That's why we also need to make sure, if you want to design for anybody that has to do with picture, ask for a better picture if they send you a picture that is not good. Now look at this now. It's look, merely seeing this, it's kind of, you feel like I want to design this. I want to design this. And looking at some of their designs, can you see? Now look at this. This now is a design that is telling a story. It's telling a story, and you can see this. Mm, mm, Let's not go there. Okay, enough of spelling. Let's go back to what we're doing before. And that's what I want to say about design style. It's very important. Design style is very important, and we also need to take note of that. Any question on this before we go back to our Photoshop? Can we hear me, please?
Yes.
Yes.
I have questions on the fonts, but for now, since I'm not with my
No,
system,
no,
let me
please
just
ask.
open
Ask
font.
so that you can ask now. Doesn't mean.
I know there are different kind of fonts, and we can even download some that we need online. I'm talking from my Canva experience, so
Okay.
but I'm not. And the previous little graphic design class that I joined, that in usage of fonts, you should not use more than 2 to 3 kinds of fonts. I
Yeah.
don't really, and the one issue I used to have is when I design, I don't really know how to mix fonts that to be so nice, like the designs I'm seeing.
Okay. I believe we have talked on this before, and this is also in part of that. It's also in the ones with the videos. Now, when it comes to use of fonts, I say that your font combination, most of the times, the maximum font you should use in design is the maximum font you should use is 3. At all that you want to stretch yourself, is it should be 3. Now having 4 is not really necessary for me. It doesn't, I won't encourage having too much too much font in your design. And I also said yesterday that the one you want a particular for your header, the header of your design, that's the main caption or the theme of your design, should have a unique font. Should have a unique font. And the unique font I'm talking about, it can be a a cursive font, it can be a serif, it can be a sans serif, but it should stand out to, it will be different from the body text. And once you've used a particular unique one for your header, then the other ones for the body text, the other information, sub-information, sub-headers, you can now use the same font for other ones so that it won't be too busy. And the particular font you want to use should know that it's speaking to that particular thing you're using. Like what we're talking about children font the other time when Rachel suggested children party. Now there are children, there are childlike fonts. You can't use a childlike font for a professional, let me say professional design or a work design or even a concert for adults. You can't use it. You can't use those kind of fonts for them. Because it will be looking childish kind of. And you can't use a font that is supposed to, let me say, Brick College, for example, now. You can't use it for children's party. It will be looking like like a tech event, whereas it's children's party. Now, and also you can use there. So if you notice for movie industries, how about Precious? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Now I want to show us something. Let me say Jolly Party. Now, if I'm correct, this Jolly Party, it sounds come here. My sister here. Now, this Jolly Party, it sounds like children party, isn't it? Hello, are we together? Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to show something. I want to change the font. I was trying to explain something about the one for children and the one for movie posters. I want to show us a particular font, and we will all judge and see if it fits, which one it fit for. Is it this one? Is it this one? Let's look at this font. Does this font fit for children party or a movie poster?
A movie poster.
Yes. How about Kwemi?
Yes, sir. I do see.
Okay. Now, if you see what I'm saying now, this one now we can't use this one for if I see this on a children party, I will feel like what's happening? It's looking like a movie. It is looking like a movie poster. It's like saying, okay, yes, the beginning of something, the return of the world, all those kind of things. Now, whereas let's change this now and change it to this. Let me use this one, this particular one. Let me know this one. I don't really like this font. How about this one?
Yes, it looks like something that babies will like.
Now, this one looks like what children will like. It looks like children's font. Now, that's why we need to understand there is a story behind every font. Now, and it's like design is wide. Design is another word its own. When we are talking of this, we are also talking of that. In general, design is all about storytelling. And storytelling, if you want to tell your story, every element you are telling, everything you are saying in your design has to tell the story about the particular function you are talking about. It has to. That's the things we need to consider in our design. And let me use another design, another font. Let me use this broccoli, the one I use for. Okay. Now imagine this one now. This one I can as well use. I can't use this one for children's party. This one is not nice for children's party. Now it's just what we need to understand. These are the things we need to understand about the use of font. Each font has its own function and its own story. All right. With that now, let's continue with what we are. Is there any question before I continue? Precious, do you have a question too?
I don't.
Okay. Now I want us to work on a design now for social media. For a social media, okay, let me drop this. Okay, the one we were doing before, let's continue with that. Trying to bring it on, but I'll be doing it all over again now. Let me draw a box. Now, pick our rectangle tool. We'll pick our rectangle tool. Now, this time around, I won't use that black is to the black or it's too much kind of. It's too much. Okay, let me use this. Now, for us to move our, let me click enter. And for us to move you can see that it has covered the text. I have to move it down in our layer panel. Now I'm in my layer panel now. I will drag this rectangle, drag it to the bottom of the text. Can you see? We are having this. Now we typed social media the other day. Type social media, and let me reduce this so that we'll be able to have room to do that. We'll complete that design. Just we didn't complete that day. Social media. But I won't be using this font. Let me change the font to a sans serif. Okay, the one we use that day. Let me use Compton this time around. Compton. One of these fonts, Comic Sans, is one of the children fonts. Comic Sans. Where is this? I have Compton now. And I said it's something that I will still show us with time. I will tell us the sites we can download fonts. I will still tell us that so that we can have easy access to fonts. Yeah, continue. Okay, let me just go with this. Let me just go with this. Because I won't waste our time. Because I want us to finish this one today. Now, the other day I said I wanted to give it an outline. I wanted to give it an outline or a stroke. To give it a stroke, I will go to my effects. Under my layer, below my layer panel, you will see FX. Go there, then stroke. All right. Let me give it one, not black. Now, peradventure, you mistakenly you didn't change the color. You will still on this stroke here. You still double click on it, and it will load. If you want to adjust the same stroke. Now click on the color and let's give it white. Okay. Now this now
I
for
have a
you.
question.
Okay. You cannot.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
Please, when you are designing as a professional designer, probably you were given a job now. For instance, the album release design that you showed us.
Yes.
When you are designing, and for instance, your client did not give you an example or describe anything, person just said, "Design for me my wedding invitation, my birthday flyer." What's As a designer, what is the best thing to start with? Is it your background, or I don't know? I just want to know which is best to start with.
One thing is that majority, let me say, of the
Hello, can you hear me?
yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me, please?
Okay, I just started
Okay.
hearing you.
I said majority of the people you'll be working with, 90% of even organizations, they always want to sometimes, but 90% of people you'll be working with will not tell you that this is the type of design, or this is the way I want my design to. They'll just give what they just want to do is just give you, okay, this is what I want to design, give you their content. That, okay, this is what they want to do. Someone just tell you, I want to do my birthday, just give you, sometimes they will not ask you, okay, what are the things that will be there? You are the one that will not tell you, okay, give me your name, give me your this, give me your that. You will do that. Once you do that, the first thing to do to approach a design, because we'll still get there later on. I'm just using this to make us to be familiar with our tools first. That's why I've not talked on that. But we'll still get to that in our course, in this course. But let me just tell us briefly. Now, the first thing to do is first go to different sites. You have heard me mention this before, that go to different sites for ideas first. That's research. Research is your number one thing to do. That's the first thing to do in your design process. First, make your research on that particular niche that you want to design for. Is it birthday? Is it album? Just go online, search for design on or music album on this. You feed yourself with different design ideas first. Because if you don't make research first, you just see yourself boxed to one particular pattern of design. And this is what we need to be careful as a design. We should not be boxed to a particular pattern of design. You need to feed your eyes with design first. Make your research. Do your research first. And after doing design, as you are doing, you'll be saving them. Save them in your mood board. There is something we call mood board that I will tell us later in this course. Save them in your mood board. In your mood board, you will now, from your mood board, then you try to refine your search. That means narrow down your search. While you are searching, you are getting different. How can I did in this design? What this particular did in this design? Then narrow them down. Now you can now sketch your design. Okay, how do I want it to be? You can now have a sketch of how you want it to be. Then what are the images I would need? What are the images I would go to search for the images you want to use for your background? That's literally how it begins before you start doing your design. Because we'll still talk on that much more later in this course. Hope you understand, please.
Yes, I do. I do, but I know as time goes on, I will get it better. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. Okay, now let me. I don't really like this font. Making this font. May use connect. Okay, I want to use connect instead. Still prefer this to that other one. Okay, now this font is this font is looking like it's been stretched. Okay, now I want to remove this black. For me to remove this black now, I will go to my fill, then reduce it to 0%. You can see the color is no more there, but I want to reduce this. Now, the essence of doing this now is just to make us to be, oh, sorry. I'll put that restarted it. The essence of what I'm doing now is just for me to get familiarize us with the use of our tools. So you know how to you're familiar with your tools. Now, then let's go like this, like this, like this, like this. Now, if you notice something, all these purple lines that are showing, they are called smart guide. Can we see those purple lines? They are guiding me on okay where to place it so that I will maintain the same alignment, the same spacing. Can you see how they are guided? They are smart, they are called smart guide. And for you, you can turn off if you don't like the way it's showing, you can decide to turn it off. You can turn it off. You can turn off your smart guide. But for me, it's necessary for you if you are designing because it will also make it will also make life easier for someone. Hey, why do I keep expressing this? Now it will help life easier for someone as a designer. Now with this now, let's draw. And come in place. I need to close this. Close this, please.
Am I the only one that can't hear anything?
No, I'm not talking yet, please. I'm just trying to.
Okay.
Thank God, our network today is hearing the voice of heaven. Okay, now this from this now, you can see that if you notice, Precious, with compared to with what you did yesterday,
Mm.
you will notice that this one, what I'm doing now, they are well aligned. And this is part of the principles of our design that we did. Alignment, they are on the same line. And if you check even their middle, they have the same spacing at the middle. If you check my left and my right is the same spacing. We have the same space here. My top and bottom, the same spacing. Yes, do we have the same spacing? Yes. Now, if you notice, literally, if someone see this outside, literally, if I've not even added anything to this design, I love the way it's organized, the way it is now. And that's one thing we should consider in design. We have to make sure from the beginning of our design, everything is done. Now, can you see it's giving us this? Let me see. Let me write type PNG. Now I want to put PNG there so that I want to fit type PNG. And the PNG by now it should not be PNG. Okay, let me ask by now. I've not told us before. PNG means pictures that doesn't have background. Any image that doesn't have background is PNG.